Everybody, welcome to Athena After Dark. I hope you guys had a great week. We have tons of cool stuff, so let's kickstart this baby and get rolling. Awesome. We've been talking about it. Our upcoming events this April. We have Outer Banks Bike Week. We're excited about that. Lots of people going. And then we have Leesburg Bike Fest, which is next after that, the end of April. That's in upstate Florida. And then, of course, got to get ready for May, because in May we have the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival, and then also the Sons of Speed Tennessee Jam. Those are the end of May, and it's going to be fun-filled, so you know what you got to do. You got to get those motorcycles out and ride them. All right, hopefully you can make those events. Cool. So last week we talked about a contest. Everybody was a little upset the first contest was just for the ladies, so we did it for everyone. Trivia. So it's a little different. Last week and for the next 2 weeks, I'll ask a trivia question. And if you know the answer, you can follow the instructions. You could win some of the goodies that we have, compliments of Northern Tool. Thank you, Miss Darcy. We appreciate you for that. First, you have to answer the question. Have to have the correct answer. It has to be the correct answer, everyone, okay? I love you all, and I'll put you in there, but, you know, it's not fair, so it has to be the correct answer. You have to include your mailing address. Okay, and then you have to follow Athena After Dark. Also, you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's at Athena After Dark, Athena After Dark 9457, but we'll show you that at the end of the show. So, hi Lance, I see you from Leesburg. I love everybody pops in here and we get some good comments and stuff like that. Okay, this week we are going to have our segment brought to you by Techno Research, and that is Fan 5 Good Things this week. So this week we have Jared Queen from Fort Pierce. Number 1 for him is his good friends. Number 2, good motorcycles. Number 3, good women who ride. Number 4, good times. And then number 5, good memories. I think those are awesome. Then we have Pamela from Cave Creek. She says, number 1 is my motorcycle life. Number 2, my family. Number 3, my health. Number 4, my dogs and horses. And number 5, singing the music that I love. That's awesome. Kudos to both of you. Thanks for sending in your 5 good things. See, made me smile. Horses, iron horses. Arizona, I think, right? Yeah, Arizona. Cave Creek is in Arizona. Don's pushing the buttons. He's doing such a good job as my producer tonight. So thank you. I appreciate you more than you know. All right, so we're going to get on with the next segment, A Dose of Goodwill. As many of you know, I asked the evening guests to please tell me the charities or the organizations that they support so that we can promote them here on the show. So tonight we have Shriners Children's Hospital. And since opening the hospital in 1922, the Shriners have been devoted to providing high-quality specialty medical care to the children and families who come to them, regardless of their ability to pay or their insurance status. Everybody knows how important our children are. They're our future, so they keep them healthy. Please donate to a great organization doing great things. And again, keep our future healthy. The kids are our future. The address is right there on the screen, and participate any way you can. And please remember that there's times when you can also give of your time, not just your money. They need the money, but there's times when if you do something special in the world and you can pop into a children's hospital and make their day, it's the most incredible feeling you'll ever have, ever. So that's awesome. And everybody knows I get excited about the guest. Tonight's guest is super special to me. I'm honored to have him. He's someone I've looked up to my whole adult life. He's a rider, a racer, and now he's crew chief. And that is the legendary Guy Glover. So you know how it goes. We're going to show some pictures. He's tonight's spark. So let's go through some photos. Okay, so this first photo is me. Yes, that's me. I worked at the parts counter in his shop. That's where I got my start. I used to get my parts at cost, and I worked there. So that was 1980 something. Wow. And my daughter looks just like me at that age. How awesome. Everybody knows I enjoy my history in motorcycles. Okay, this is what I was accustomed to seeing in the shop. They were always working on something crazy, some crazy motorcycle to go fast up the drag strip. And boy, howdy, did he always. Okay, and this is his living room. Okay, we love that. He doesn't have enough room for all the motorcycles that he has, I'm sure. That's why he has a great taste of decorating. In the 80s, it was Hooters. Okay, and that's always been in his living room. That's a piece. Look at that gorgeous Sportster. And yes, he's a Sportster guy. Okay, so this picture here was taken in Bradenton. This young lady, She won the money, but she lost the bikini contest to the blow up doll. I was there for that. That was the 80s too. It all worked out though. She got the money, and Guy took like first place and 2 second places that weekend. It was a good weekend in Bradenton. Oh, look, the 70s. Gotta love those pictures. You have to take a picture of those pictures. There's racing, and it is a family event. Look at that. And everybody always does everything they can. Every once in a while, I get a chance to pull the red wagon, up and down the drag strip. It's funny.
For what?
For what? You got to start it somehow. There he is. I always love watching him go up and down the track. I love drag racing. I have never had the opportunity to take a motorcycle up the strip. I know my addictive personality, so I think that it wouldn't be a good thing. And then look, that's how it all starts, right? The baby and the bottle. I love that picture. He sent that picture, and I had to put it up there because it's just okay. Now this is a picture of his race bike. That was just on Cycle Drag News. They did a little interview on him. I believe it was. I'll put it on the Facebook page so you guys can all see it. And yeah, there's him and Mr. Bubel, Tommy Bubel. He is our machinist. He does all the machine work for a lot of cool stuff that a lot of us down here in the South do. So I got some more here. Look at that machining. That's what he does in his garage in his spare time. He's retired now, like in a aspect of he lives in his house. He goes racing. He does machine work. He fixes things. He does everything. I learned a lot from him. Look at that. I love that shot. Drag racing.
101.
Yep. Drag bike, 11th annual Florida National. He was the longest running championship bike. That's an awesome photo there. Like there's claim to fame here. And again, I worked in the shop, and there's David Crosby, and that's the young lady who got the money at the bikini contest. I think that's her mom next to her. That was the 80s. Boy, howdy. Yep. Concerts. We used to do them outside. Easy Riders Visit, everything. Always promoting events. And that's, yeah, oh, boy, howdy. That's something that they're getting into. That looks like drag bike motor there. I'm sure it's 4-cylinder. That's a go fast bike up the track. There he is. I like that old shot there. They put the times on the board, your little track thing, your track ticket. That's pretty neat. And there that was, I believe, not this past year, but the year before, they won the championship. So, yeah, and it's cycledrag.com. You can see the article there of the stuff that they've done. And there's his pup, his pooch. Look at that. Dogs resemble their owners. I love him and his ears. The dog, too. All right. So we're going to bring in the legendary drag race title holder, now crew chief, my friend and one of my mentors, Guy Glover. He's coming in now. Well, hello, sir. How are you this evening? I got it. Hold on. There you go. Let's try that again. How you doing?
Okay.
Good.
You work? Is it working?
It's working. It's nice to see you.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen you for a while.
I know. And I see the background there. You're always working. You're in the shop, got all your engine cases and stuff.
Yeah, you said that this one here on the bench is a drag motor. It's a 4-cylinder iron head for the street.
For really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, going in a street bike.
I want to see that when it's done. 4-cylinder, huh?
Yeah, it's a V4 iron head. I started it the day after Christmas, and right now it's ready to start assembly. I got all the machine work done.
I so love you. Always doing it right. You do it. When you do it big. That's for sure.
Well, I've been threatening to build a 4-cylinder for years, so I just decided to do it.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. Well, then we know what you've been up to. That's too cool. What do you got coming up?
I'll be leaving next week for Rockingham, North Carolina race.
And you raced with Jim Martin. You're his crew chief, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So what circuit is that?
That'll be, I believe that one's AHDRA.
Okay. Very good.
But I get them mixed up all the time, so I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, that happens when you're busy building Frankenstein stuff that's going to actually go. Boy, that's going to be a doozy there. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see that run. What made
If
you
I
do
can
that?
We got to find out if I can kick it.
What? So you've been talking about that for a while, but why did you decide to do that? 'Cause it's never.
I always wanted to do it just for fun, something different. And I'm retired now, so I got the time.
That's awesome.
Plus, I got so many iron head parts laying around. It's one way to use some of them up.
Right. Yeah, you do have a garage full of stuff. That is for sure. So, just for fun, I'm going to ask you some just for fun questions. You ready?
Yeah, shoot.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Big or little?
What?
Big dogs or little dogs? You said
Oh,
dogs.
20. He's about 23 pounds. He thinks he's 123 pounds.
He's a big dog trapped in a little dog body.
Oh yeah, he's scared of nothing.
Nothing.
I have no doubt he would attack an alligator.
Okay. Now, see what I meant?
Definitely hear him coming.
I love you. He can definitely hear them coming. You can too. I so love you. I miss you dearly. That's so funny. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Apples. Okay.
Yeah.
Peanut butter
Not
or
What's that?
I say you put peanut butter on them?
Nah,
Nah.
but I have tried them that way.
Okay. Hotel or camping?
Camping for sure.
Okay. All right. Slow, fast, or faster? I don't know.
When I looked at what you sent me, I originally picked faster, but I've since decided that there seems to be a time for all three.
Okay.
So I can't really pick.
All right. I like that answer.
There's a time for all three, so you just got to get them at the right place.
Okay. Sunshine or moonshine?
Sunshine.
All right. And what is your favorite road food?
Bacon and eggs at the racetrack in the morning.
Okay. All right. Now, if you were a cocktail, what would you be?
There's a little story behind that one if you got a minute.
Oh, we want to hear it. That's what we're doing here.
I used to, when I lived down in Pompano, I used to eat at Bennigan's 3-4 times a week. So I knew all the waitresses and everybody that worked there. And I was going out with the bartender for a little while. And she wrote my phone number down on one of those Rolodexes at the bar.
Okay.
And she put it in the Rolodex under sex on the boat. And she put it down in next to sex on the beach. So my phone number was in the Rolodex under sex on the boat. And she ended up not working there. And it was probably 7 or 8 months later, I was up there with a lady I was dating. And she was a bartender and discussing drinks with the bartender that was working. And they were trying to name drinks the other one couldn't make. And they were going through the Rolodex. And when she saw the one, she said, sex on the boat. What the hell is that one? And she looked, she said, that's your phone number. She got pissed.
Oh,
What the
I
hell is
love
your
it.
phone number doing? And so
Hey.
I don't know. She calmed down after a while, but she was pretty fired up for a little bit. So I guess it would be sex on a boat.
Sex on a boat. I love that. Now we got to make a drink that goes to that. Even if it's a non-alcoholic drink, we still have to make one. We'll have to mix it up for sure. Give that. All right. So we're going to get into some serious questions now that we got the fun out of the way. So, of course, you got to tell us how long you've been riding.
59 years.
59 years. And how did you get into motorcycles?
My one buddy had a mini bike, and so I had a paper route. I saved up and bought my first mini bike. I think it was $9.
$9?
Yeah, my first mini bike was $9. My parents had a fit when I showed up home on it
Oh, shit. And what'd
because
you
I was only
graduate in?
12 or something.
And then what'd you graduate into after that?
Oh, I only had the mini bike for about 5 months, and I got a 250 Ducati.
Oh, okay.
Because once you got a bike, you're allowed to have a bike, right?
Right?
I never told them I bought the Ducati either. They found out later. I was a lot of surprises when I was younger.
And you call me Trouble. Every
Oh
time I see you,
yeah.
like, what's up, Trouble? And you call me Trouble, but you definitely had your fair share.
Oh yeah.
Mm. So then how did you get into racing?
But well, first time I met my other friend on his mini bike. That was it right there. We're trying to beat each other for forever. And it just worked its way on up.
Now, where was that?
In a little town next to Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Okay.
But plus I had an uncle, my mom's brother, when they first came out with the car, AFX cars,
Okay.
the AFX cars were factory experimental cars that were actually the first funny cars. And I think there was only 6 or 7 of them the first year. And my uncle had one. And my dad used to take me to the track to watch him when I probably was about, well, that was in 62, so I was 10. So it might have been part that got me to racing too. I'm not sure.
And who won the mini bike race? The mini bike race.
The kid that used to go over the field with us had a 3-horse, and I only had a 2.
Uh-huh.
So I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it until I beat him. He showed up 3 days later with a 4-horse. He told his dad he lost. So I worked on mine and worked on it and worked on it. It took me about 4 months, but then I beat the 4-horse. He showed up a week later with a 5-horse. So every time I beat this kid, his dad bought him a new bike. So it ended up when we got into the motorcycles, I had the Ducati, and his dad bought him a 305 Honda, and I had the 250. And I worked my way up till I beat the 305. So his dad bought him a 450 Honda. So I went out and got a 650 Norton and whooped him with that. So his dad, it was pretty stupid because we're riding in the dirt. His dad went out and bought him actually a 1200 Harley. So it was a shovel head. And he came out on the dirt field on the shovel head trying to race out. I whooped that one too. He can't, But every time I beat this kid, his dad would buy him a new motorcycle, and it'd take me months to catch him. But I used to catch him all the time. But it was probably good practice for what I was doing later.
Yeah, see, it laid the groundwork. And now, I don't know, when you have to come to Sturgis with us because they have the drags, the dirt drags, Cycle Source and Lead Sled, and they get out here. They're on their panheads and they're doing dirt drag races. It's crazy. They do every kind of motorcycle.
I used to run the dirt drags every year for a lot of years for, what was it, Roscoe, right?
Yeah, Roscoe's Chili Challenge.
Yeah, because they were all his friends, and there was always a big war and arguing back and forth. So he hired me to come do it every year and said, I don't want to hear nothing about it. You take care of it. So I used to run those dirt drags for years over there.
Roscoe's was a good event always. So
I never raced dirt drags.
We have excellent people who always watch us. We have Jose out there. He says a little bit. Woody from Wildwood, he commented just a minute ago. He's given us a thumbs up. So that's a hello to you.
I haven't seen Woody in years and years and years.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna have an old school reunion one of these days soon. We're gonna get him on the show too, for sure. That is awesome. So then if I had to ask you, because it's in the questions, what's your favorite motorcycle to ride? And then what's your favorite route to ride? And you can tell me your favorite road bike, and then you can tell me your favorite drag bike. And then you can tell me your favorite route and your favorite track.
Usually when I was street riding, I got 1125R Buell and I got a dresser. And depending on the day, it doesn't matter. I like them both.
Okay.
Actually, the 1125R Buell is a blast. It's really fun, but it'll get you in trouble real quick. It's I don't know if you ever get a chance to ride one, ride it. It's a lot of bike. It really is.
Okay.
And now as far as where I like to ride too, I never make plans. I just point it north and I end up where I end up.
That's awesome. Now I understand the answer: slow, faster, faster. All three apply. I get it now, for sure.
I have an XB12 R2, which has got the Harley motor and the Buell. I ride that one, but only around town. That's more of a around town bike. But that 1125R, if you want, you can take that thing out in the turnpike and run 100 mile an hour for 2 hours straight. It doesn't even phase it. I mean, it just loves it.
Nice. And you've done all the racing. You've done the knee dragging. You've done the straight drags. You've done everything when it comes to
I
racing.
did it backwards because the road race guys, there's some of them make big money.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have done that when I was in my 20s and made the money, and then drag race now when I got older.
Right.
Because drag racing all those years, it don't matter how good you are, even winning all the races, it still costs money to go. You can't win money.
Right. It's because you love to do it.
I didn't start road racing until I was 50. I should have started drag racing when I was 50.
I love it. And Miss Boots, she's one of my friends. She says her first bike was a Buell Blast 500. So Eric Buell gets around. I know he's got some stuff coming up. So then, what's your favorite?
I know him a little bit. I know Eric. I've talked to him many times. He's a very, very smart man when it comes to motorcycles.
Yeah.
He hasn't had very good luck with business, but he sure knows motorcycles. He's very smart.
And it's
nice
because
guy.
it's because we love what we do. You know what I mean? When you're good at it, the business side of it either hits or misses. Sometimes it depends, you know. So what's your favorite drag bike to ride? What's the best drag bike you've ever ridden?
Well, they changed the name of the class a few times. I used to run XL gas, and then they changed it to Pro Stock, and then they changed it to XL Unlimited, and then I think the last time I was running it, it was called Pro Dragster.
It's the same bike. You just rebuild it, right? You just make it.
Yeah, well, that motor that's in that bike was in 3 different motorcycles. We started out with a modified, which is a stock Harley frame, and we set the national record ATM mile an hour with it. So we built an Alter, which you're allowed to use an aftermarket frame,
right?
Which after class, and we went ahead and set the record numerous times in that class. And then we went ahead and jumped up into dragster because I got tired of them changing the rules on me all the time. They kept complaining that they were actually complaining it was too fast for the class.
And you were always in tech.
And I was like, it's legal for the class. What do you mean it's too fast? So they kept moving me to a faster class where it was more competitive with what was in that class. So I kept building a new bike to fit that class and then go ahead and take that record too. And it caused a little turmoil over the years, but we did pretty good. We did all right.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, too, but you were always in tech. I remember anytime they could flag you for tech, you were too fast. They wanted to see everything.
Well, see, I built the Sportster's always had a transmission trouble. Mm-hmm. And because of the tranny breaking, when the motor started making horsepower, I had to build something else. So I built my own 5-speed automatic and put it in there. And I got it approved before I did it. And they said it was okay. But when I showed up at the track and took the record the first time.
Oh, we lost him. Oh, no. Hopefully he'll sign back in.
He said the phone might fall. We might lose him for a minute.
The phone fell over and we lost him for a minute. Well, he'll be back in. And again, I love Guy. He is absolutely one of my heroes, one of my mentors. He used to let me, I would sell parts, and then I was working on a motorcycle that I was building. I was 16 years old. I would lived a block away. Oh, yeah, there's me.
Yeah.
And so I would learn stuff in the shop, and then I would go back, and they had a jar on the workbench, and anytime I needed to ask a question, I had to put $1 in the jar. So when I was at work, I would just go back in the shop and I would watch what him and Tommy Bubble were doing. And I would, take notes and make my own determinations about how things worked. And yeah, they didn't do too well at the end for Daytona with their jar. They had like $33. They thought it was going to pay their trip. They thought at least $300. Didn't work out for them. So until we get Guy back, let's go ahead and see what we can do about throwing something out there for everybody. Okay, so if you subscribe to the Facebook or to the YouTube channel, okay, and if you do it this week, I will send you Athena After Dark goodies. Okay, so I will see who you are. Subscribe to the Facebook channel or to the YouTube channel, because we're almost at the point where we get our own custom title, and it'll be our custom name. Then you can just type in Athena After Dark and we'll show up. So it's one of those things. I dare you to do it. If you go to Athena After Dark at 9457 on YouTube and subscribe. Yep, I absolutely dare you. I see Jose. I see Dennis Stauber. That's so awesome that you guys are out there. Miss Boots, I love you guys for watching and participating. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say my afterthought while we wait for Guy to come back in, because I'm sure he's messing with his phone. So he never does this. He did an interview at the track, I think like a couple weeks ago, and it's something that he doesn't do. He's not much on that technology stuff because he's busy, doing machine work and things like that. But so we'll go through and hopefully he'll come back in. Okay, so my afterthought tonight was finding purpose. So I realized recently that the hardest challenge I face daily is finding my purpose in motorcycles, in life. What mark do I leave on the world? Something I'm sure everyone at some point searches for, unless you're otherwise distracted by a ridiculousness of daily shit. But really, what is my purpose? I'm finding, for me, it's to help others, to inspire others. I love my husband. He's scrolling over there, but he's missed it. He kind of like, yeah, there you go, baby. You're so awesome. Don't direct Don. Oh, he's calling Guy to see if we can get him back on there. So to help others, inspire others, be an example for my kids and my grandson, be a loving wife to my incredible husband, and spread my sunshine even on rainy days. And of course, being right here, right now, doing this little show. So for you guys, don't forget, spread your sunshine everywhere you go. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, because it does matter. He's on the phone with him right now. So what other kind of trouble can I get into? Yes. Let's see. Guy Glover's shop. Wow, that was the 80s. Does anyone even remember the 80s? I know it's a little bit of a blur, but I do remember the best part when we expanded the shop. He had a little tiny shop on one side and they had a laundromat next door. So it was a thing. The lady was going to clear out the laundromat and rent it out to somebody else. So we decided we were going to clear out the laundromat and rent it from her. And I got to expand and put parts on the wall and put t-shirts in, and, all while learning stuff from him and Tommy in the back and going racing and doing things of that nature. So for me, that has a lot to do with who I am as a motorcycle mechanic, as a motorcycle rider. One real inspiring thing that I learned from Guy, I was working the counter. A guy came in, his generator wasn't working on his motorcycle. And I said, okay, give us a minute and we'll come in and we'll bring you in and we'll check it all out. So Guy brought it in. He came back out like 10 minutes later and he said, okay, you're good to go. And I was like, and the guy said to him, what do I owe you? And he says, well, you don't owe me anything. Oh, there he is. I'm telling a story. Hang on one second. So he says, you don't owe me anything. And so the guy, shook his hand and whatever, and he left. And I said to him, I said, what's up with that? You fixed his motorcycle. He goes, it was a 10-cent wire. He said, I absolutely could have charged him and brought it back there and, been like other people, but that's not what we do. We don't do it like that. And that's not who we are. He said, so I sent him with the 10-cent wire and he had a great day. Well, it comes back around and we're going to ask him about that right now. And then we'll get back to our questions. But there he is. I see him. Okay. I'm glad that you made it back. Your phone overheated. You put it in the freezer. That's what Don said.
I threw it in the freezer for a minute. And so
okay.
We'll see if it lasts again. The other guy you were talking about, he called. He got a hold of my number from Tommy and called me up, and he was moving to the Philippines and gave me a home running motorcycle, Ironhead 75. He gave me a 74 in a bucket and about 12 buckets of really good parts. And he didn't want any money for it. He wouldn't take any money.
Right. But I learned that lesson early on with you in the shop that, it's about being good to the people, and it's the camaraderie and the respect and not taking advantage and just doing what you're supposed to do in the world. So that you've always inspired me like that. for sure. All right, so we're going back to the questions because we don't want you to overheat and have to stay in the freezer. Yeah, are you in the freezer? It looks like you're in the freezer.
No, I went out back on the porch. It's cooler out here.
Okay, so we were talking about what's your favorite drag bike to ride and what's your favorite track?
The Buells I used to enjoy Homestead. Drag race, and I like Rockingham. It's a fun track to be on. That's usually the best race of the year. That's where they have the Jim McClure Memorial race every year.
Yeah, he was an incredible man. I know you guys were friends, and he was definitely someone that we all looked up to at the track too. Like yourself. So that is cool. So tell me what.
Did I ever tell you what he did to me?
You can tell me.
I always, how do I say it? I always had a good opinion of my tuning. I always thought I was good at it, but you have to have that kind of opinion to be a good tuner anyway. You can't think, oh, I suck, So for me to admit that I couldn't tune something would be a big thing. And Jim came over to me at the track one day and handed me some cams in a box. He said, here, check these out. And they didn't have any numbers or name on them. They were just a set of cams with huge lobes. So he said, put them in your bike. So I thought, man, he's hooking me up here, So I put them in the bike and I took it to Palm Beach track here. And I put 2 sizes bigger jet in it just to start. And the first pass, I blew the top end off it, burned it up. So I brought it back and I could tell it was because it was too lean. So I rebuilt the top end, went 2 more sizes on the jet, and retarded the timing a little. I went up there, first pass, burnt the top off it. I did that a 3rd time. A 4th time, I got to where I was taking the S&S jets. The biggest ones I had, I think, were 105s, and I was drilling to like 160s, 170s. And I was almost to the point where I needed to just take the jet out and leave it out. And I go up there and I burnt the top off. So I thought, I can't do this. And I didn't want to admit I couldn't do it. But I couldn't do it. So I pulled them out, put my other cams back, put them in a box, and I took them up to, I think next race was Gainesville. And with my tail between my legs, I went over to Jim and handed him the box and said, Jim, I tried everything I know and I can't make them work. He said, you can't? I said, no, I can't. And I told him what had happened. He said, you sure you can't make them work? I said, I'm sure. He said, follow me. And he takes the box and he goes walking across the pits over to Elmer Trett. And he hands the box to Elmer and says, these ain't no fucking good. And Elmer said, well, I was pretty sure. I just wanted a second opinion. So Elmer couldn't make them work. So he gave them to Jim. And Jim couldn't work and he didn't make them work. And I guess he didn't want to admit he couldn't make them work. So he gave them to me. And I was the first one that would admit I couldn't do it. God, for these 2 guys, I burned up 5 motors trying to make these cams work. I said, you both figured it would work and you gave them to me anyway. And neither one of them, they just stand there grinning.
Well, they figured if you couldn't do it, nobody could. So it absolutely.
No. The problem is neither one of them wanted to admit they couldn't do it, I think, was the problem.
Too funny.
But they used to pull crap like that all the time.
That's too funny. And the drag race, the races, it's like a family. It's a whole family event. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't say circus or carny. It's better. It's way better than that. The camaraderie and respect that goes on is just everybody kicks in.
The nitro guys are much, much closer. At the end of the day, we're all hanging out. The gas guys weren't that way sometimes. Unless it was just that many years ago, but we never did that. The nitro guys, it is a big family for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what's your favorite motorcycle event you've ever been to?
Probably that race in Bradenton where we won Top Fuel.
I love that. Oh, I lost him again. His phone is overheating. This is always a challenge. So you know what we do when there's a challenge. I remember I got so excited about my guest that I forgot to tell you guys what the trivia question for tonight was for the Northern Tool stuff. So I have stuff for goodie bags. Again, thanks to Northern Tool and Miss Darcy. Make little goodie bags. I have 3. So last week I asked the question. Everybody sent their answers. Most of them were correct. Some of them need a little work. But all your names went into the kitty, and we're gonna pull a name out. I will announce that one next week. Okay, and so this week's trivia question, if you're ready for this, ta-da, I got my glasses on. What was the first year Harley Davidson put a foot shifter on a motorcycle? Send me the answer in an email along with your mailing address. Follow Athena After Dark at Athena After Dark Productions on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we will put your answer with your name in the bowl, and I'll let Don pick. So there's no bias, no prejudice, nothing like that. I'll let him pick, and you guys can get a chance to win. I hear him, so that means he's back. See, he gave me time to get stuff done because I got so excited. I absolutely forgot the darn question. Sorry about that. All right, we're back. Okay, I like that. In the freezer we go, right?
I guess most people do it on a computer because the phone doesn't seem to like it.
Maybe, are you plugged in? Maybe you have to unplug it and it won't get so hot.
It wasn't the first time. The first time it wasn't plugged in, but now it is.
Yeah, Don will tell you have to keep putting quarters in it. That's his theory on it. So, okay. So we got your favorite event. I can understand the Bradenton. I was actually there for that. So that was really good. So then what is the most fun you've ever had on a motorcycle? Come on, tell. You have to tell. It's an adult show, so you can tell.
The back row at the Suncoast Drive-In on Federal Highway. We probably need to leave it at that.
Okay. All right.
You
then
remember
what's
the
the worst?
Remember the
I
Suncoast?
remember the Suncoast. Yes. Yeah. No, which motorcycle were you on when that happened?
My Sportster, the one that's in the living room.
Yes, I understand that. That's got its own James Dean Marlon Brando thing going there. That thing. Definitely a lady killer.
It's been a chopper. It was the first drag bike. It's been a lot of stuff, and I put it back stock finally.
That is so awesome. It looks good there though too, very much so. So then, what's the worst experience you've ever had on a motorcycle?
Turn 1 at Palm Beach International Raceway.
Oh, yeah.
That was sort of funny too because I didn't know how they did it, but when I lost it in turn 1 and got broke up pretty bad, they put me in the ambulance and took me out front to where the main street is and unloaded me. And I said, "What, you're just going to throw me out?" And they go, "No." Apparently, another ambulance came and got me and took me from there. But I thought they were just throwing me out of the track because
Causing too much trouble.
Causing too much trouble, right? That's it. They're like, yeah, this guy's a problem here. So, and that's kind of crazy because would you slide out? Somebody get in your way?
a lot of times you're coming into a corner and you're not where you want to be, or you're going too fast and you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then you handle it and do what you need to do. But that corner was like a textbook corner. I was where I wanted to be, doing the speed I wanted. I went into the corner. Everything went perfect. I was just getting ready to stand it up to go straight. And all of a sudden I wasn't on a motorcycle. It just went away. So.
Oh, shit.
I guess, I don't know. Just as you get faster, I guess they won't stay under you as good.
Right. Yeah. 3-0 shits. That's a big one. Okay. So who is your childhood hero?
Probably my dad. He's a good guy. He didn't get to live that long. He only made it to 45, but he was a good guy.
Okay. And then who is your motorcycle hero?
That's a toss-up between Jim and Elmer. I couldn't.
Okay. So, and is that the same thing for if I asked you who your racing hero is, that's going to be the same answer?
No, probably I figured I'd put the cars in there. My uncle, because he set a lot of records in his car, and then I've always been a fan of John Force.
Okay. All right. I like John Force. He's been the underdog and come out on top many a times.
I was there one day. He came over to Jim McClure and shook his hand and pointed the bike. He said, "You ride that thing?" And Jim said, "Yeah." He said, "You're nuts." And if John Force tells you you're nuts, you got a problem.
You definitely got to be nuts. That's awesome. So then tell us what your most cherished motorcycle memory is.
Probably back, I think, 71, the first cross country trip I took. me and a buddy he had a Triumph. I had my Sportster, and we headed north. And we got to North Carolina. And actually, we were supposed to go to North Florida, and we were going to split off. And I was going to Jersey, and he was going to Pittsburgh. It was 2 different roads. And every time we stopped, he kept pointing on the map, saying, "Well, look, if you come up to here, you can go that way. And if you come up to here, you can go that way." And he kept getting me further and further north on his route. And when we got to Statesville, North Carolina, we rented a room for the night, and I went to ride around town. He went to go to bed. And I was riding around town, and I was passing the college. There was some girl walking down the sidewalk, and I turned to look at her. And as I turned back, all I saw was yellow, and it was a '69 Mustang, I think. And I hit that thing and flew over top of it and bent my bike all to hell. And some guy came running over and he ripped we had phone booths back then. He went to the phone booth. He went to the phone booth and ripped the number out and gave it to me and said, "Here, call this guy." So I called him in the middle of North Carolina, and I figured I was stuck there. And he came out and got me and hauled my bike to his house. And it was he put it in the garage, and I guess he worked on bikes in his garage, and they were building Springers there too. It was a bunch of guys, all much older than me and a lot more heavy duty. But anyway, I was starting to think that I was never going to see my bike again at one point. And I went back. My buddy took me back. I called my mom and borrowed some money from her. And I went back out to tell the guy, "Go ahead and fix it. I got some money coming."
Oh my goodness. The anticipation. You see how that is right in the middle of a story. Nothing like keeping it going. That is it. So, Miss Ditch, I see you out there. My buddy, my sister Ditch, she's out there watching. And Jose, we see you guys. And sorry about that. I guess he just needs a bigger freezer. He needs to go sit in it with his phone. Okay, he's back. Let's bring him back in. I love it. Keeps the anticipation going. Gotta have fun with it. Life is full of ups and downs and whoop-de-doos. What are you gonna do? Roll with it, baby. All right. Let's see. Maybe he's there. Maybe he's not. He was there for a minute. So, okay. Don't forget. Answer the question. What was the question again? The question was, what was the first year Harley Davidson put a foot shifter on a motorcycle? Okay. Cliffhanging. I love it. That's too funny. Okay, guys, back. There you are.
So I walked in to tell him, "Go ahead and fix it." And when I walked in, he had the front end all straightened. It had blue on it from the torches, and the bike was running. The carb was back on it. And he told me, "Give me $16 and get out of here before I change my mind." And I said, "What?" He said, "Just give me $16 and go before I change my mind." So I gave it to him. We drove away, and I didn't find out till almost 20 years later. I was at a race at Homestead, and it was Don Tilley.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
wow.
It was Don Tilley before he even had the Harley shop. He was working out of his
Right. He was a road racer.
Yeah, I called him up one day and asked him. I was looking for a part that I thought he might have, and I called him up about 5 years ago. I said, "You remember a little hippie kid showed up at your house with a crash bike?" He said, "Yeah, I remember you." So he remembered too.
Oh, how cool. That is awesome. That's a good memory to have. So then, what's your most cherished racing memory?
Probably that weekend in Bradenton where I won. I red lighted my class and took a second. I won top fuel. And then I won the shootout with the Jap bike top fuel bike. So, and then Denise won the bikini contest. So we had that was probably our best weekend.
She won the money. It was kind of mean, though, that they entered a blow up doll. I didn't think that was too cool at all. That's kind of something. Okay, so my next question. If you could go back and tell your 25-year-old self something, what would that be?
Don't change a thing. I'd do it all.
Nice.
I'd do it all every day, just like I did. Even some of the bad days that you learn from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of one day that I'd do without. They were all good.
It's not road race first.
Right.
It's not road race first.
It's not. Oh no, it's not road race first. That's Don says. That's not.
But you never know where that would have led, though.
Right.
Exactly.
That's true. So if money didn't matter and you could take a trip on your motorcycle anywhere, Where would that be and with who?
I'd probably get on the bike by myself and just head somewhere with no plans. I mean, I don't make plans. I just go.
I know.
A lot of times, every time I get on the bike to go somewhere, I never get there. I get to a corner and I look left and right and I said, well, I'm supposed to go that way, but I like how that looks. And I just go the other way.
Yes.
I went for a ride. I went for a ride one time to go up to the pier in Pompano. And next thing I knew, I was at Duval Street in Key West.
And that's not hard to do, especially being here. But I miss that you're not down here all the time because I don't see you as much. But and so nothing like Europe or anything like that. You just go.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good
I
at
like that.
in the RV. I'm the same way. I don't make plans. I just head north and I end up where I end up.
Right.
The next racetrack.
Just the next racetrack. That's where you end up. The next racetrack. I love that. Okay. So will you tell us something about yourself that others may not know?
The last time I took a drink was the day I was old enough to take one on my 21st birthday.
Okay.
I got tired of getting in trouble and I didn't do it anymore.
Okay. All right. And then
So I think this
I
year
would
is
love
50 years.
50?
This year is 50 years sober, yeah.
Go you. But you've accomplished a lot. And sometimes drinking gets in the way of things, just any kind of thing that, recreation that you do. It'll get in the way, definitely. Stifle some shit.
I wouldn't be here. For some reason, my favorite hobby when I was drinking was to fight with cops. You try and be cool when you get pulled over, and I didn't. I just told them stuff it.
Oh shit.
So I just figured it was time to quit.
And what year did you open CycleWorks?
I believe 82 or 83.
83. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about it. Somebody asked me that. I was like, I don't know. It was the 80s. I remember I used to come by and bring cheesecakes because I worked at the deli around the corner, asking you all the time if you put me to work. And then I mentioned that, you married me at my first wedding and I stayed married for 10 years because I bet you $100. That was how that was. You were like, I bet you won't make it 10 years. Like,
No, I told you
9
to get
years.
divorced at 23.
Yeah, right. I was 19 when I got married.
I told you 23 and you're going to get divorced. And you kept coming in the shop every year. I'm 23. I'm not divorced. I'm 24. I'm not divorced. I'm 25. I'm not divorced. And I think you were like 27 or something. You came in. You said, I shouldn't tell you this, but I wanted to fucking divorce him when I was 23, but I wouldn't do it because of you.
That's right.
He said, I stayed married 5 years longer than I wanted to, just so you weren't right.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Well, you know what you mean to me. I mean, I hope you know what you mean to me. But tell me your 5 good things. I know you got them.
I started writing them down. I wrote waking up's a good one, but I'm not going to count that.
Okay.
I wrote my parents. I had good parents. They did a good job. I didn't listen to them very much when I was growing up, but after I grew up, it helped a lot. They were good people.
Okay. Oh, I lost him again. He needs to come back. Again, you just got to roll with it, right? So I look up to this man dearly. He is absolutely someone who holds my heart. He's always treated me with kindness and respect. He always, like my father, supported the fact that I can do it. Don't let the fact that you're a girl get in the way. A lot of times in the 80s, that was not really, he's back. Oh, good. We get the rest of them. So you get all excited. Okay. He's bringing him in. Don's bringing him in. Well, maybe he's bringing him in. Not yet. We're working on it. He's ready to come in. So let's see what he looks like. Here he comes. 3, 2, 1. Is he there? No guy. Okay. Maybe we'll get it. But anyways, so again, I hear him now. So we can't see him. We couldn't see him, but now we can hear him. There he is. Now I can hear you. You're coming back in right now. There you go. Okay.
All right.
We were at number 2. So
I forgot what I said. Oh, I think I said was going to tell you my mom's 94 now. She's still getting around good though.
Damn, that's awesome.
She lives in North Florida.
Okay, that's good. And that was your number 2 was your parents, so that's good.
No, that was number one. I'm not counting waking up.
Oh, okay.
Number two, I would say being able to achieve a lot of the goals that I set out to do, with the racing and everything. Because there's a lot of people in this country that spend a lot of money trying to do what we did, and just you never get there because it can only be one guy got the record. So we were sort of blessed with that. Number three, I would say I've always had this weird sort of a gift that, like this motor I'm doing, the V4. There's no plans for it. I didn't draw anything. I didn't figure anything. I just put the block on the mill and started cutting. I've always had sort of a gift that I can see it in my head without drawing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. You see the blueprint for what you want in your
Same
brain.
way with
I do that
building.
with bikes.
Same way with bikes. I never drew anything with bikes. Like you watch the Chip Foose show and stuff, and they draw the picture out how it's going to be. I can see it, the end result before I even start. So I was always glad about that because to draw a blueprint to build this motor I built would probably take you longer than it would take me to build the damn thing. And I think number four would be I'm glad I grew up in the 60s to the 80s because I wouldn't want to be a kid today.
Right.
It's just, they're
There's
not.
a lot.
Yeah. I like growing up when there was only two genders.
And it was phone booths. People think that's crazy, but you went to a phone booth. You didn't have an answering machine. You didn't answer the phone during dinner ever.
And
That was it was a
the guy with a pager was the drug dealer.
yes, that's exactly how that went. Like a good old country song. All right, so give me number 5.
I'm thankful for all the pets. I've had some good dogs. I've had a lot of good dogs, and they've probably been one of my favorite things other than motorcycles. Has been my dogs.
Okay. That is
This
awesome.
little guy I got now, he goes to every race with me. They know him. When he comes to the gate at Farmington, they put a VIP sticker on his collar.
I love it. That's awesome.
He's good. And he's protective as hell. All the people he knows at the track, he might not see him for 6 months. They come over, he's fine. But if somebody walks over to the bike that he doesn't know, he's a nightmare when he tries to eat everybody.
That's good. He's doing his job.
Yeah, I've been blessed with some really good dogs over the years. I don't think my life would have been the same without them.
That
So
is
between
fantastic.
between the dogs and the bike, they kept me busy.
Yeah.
And
you've taught a lot of us a lot of things along the way. Again, I was telling people while you were in between when we lost you there, just what an impact you had on me growing up and motorcycles. And, you always said, well, if you're going to do it, do it. I remember flame canals, sanding flame canals in heads for dual plug heads because I wanted it. And you're like, well, if you want it, here, now you do it. And you were like, being a girl doesn't matter. Just do it.
The pets, I always had the dogs. You want to hear one little, see if it cuts me off again, but
let's hear it.
I went to one of my friend Ron's house in Pompano back in the mid 70s. And when I was going up to his door, the guy next door, I knew him too. He was standing there with a rabbit. And I walked over and said, "Oh, you got a rabbit?" He said, "Yeah, not for long. I'm going to feed my snake." And this was like a 10-pound rabbit, big rabbit. And I said, "No way." He said, "Yeah, he'll swallow this thing down whole." I said, "Ain't no way the snake swallow that thing whole." He said, "Come on, I'll show you." He said, "He's really hungry. He'll probably eat it right away." And I said, "There's no way. I'll bet you $20 that snake can't swallow that rabbit." And he said, "You're on. Come on." I said, "Let me see him." And he handed me the rabbit. And I went over and threw it in my car and locked the door and told him to give me my $20. And he said, "Give me my rabbit." I said, "No, I bet you that Snake's not going to eat this rabbit, and he's not going to eat that rabbit. I want my $20. So for years, every time I run into him, he's going, "You stole my freaking rabbit." I said, "No, you didn't pay up on your bet. You owe me $20. And I think I had that rabbit for like 5 years. He lived a good life.
That is so awesome. See, you're so good. You are just an amazing human being, just so you know. In case nobody's told you lately, you're a wonderful person. I know it. Now everybody else knows it too.
I just try to stay out of trouble. What are you going to do?
Right. Well, you've been an excellent example for a lot of us, especially me. And you have a special place in my heart. And we're gonna come and see you a race for sure. I got to bring Donnie out and get him out into the mix. He's got some cabin fever. He's chomping at the bit. So
Well, that one next week, I don't know if this one coming up is Jim McClure Nationals or not, but that's the one you should go to. That's probably the biggest race of the year.
Well, we'll talk about what our forward motion is, because we are moving into a bigger shop, a little bit bigger. Oh, I lost him. Well, hopefully he'll be back. I can't thank you all enough for being here and putting up with our technical difficulties. You know how that goes. We do the best we can and we roll with it. So I gave you guys my afterthought. Please participate in the show by sending your 5 good things, cool stuff, events, charities, programs in your area. And even if you want questions for a little bit of biker chick perspective, for Ask Athena. And you can see the address on the screen there. We do have Guy back, so we can thank him for being here. We're going for it. We're bringing him back in. Yay. All right. I see you. That's awesome.
I want to give a shout out to Galaxy S10.
Okay. Because they overheat.
Yeah, it's not working worth the crap here, is it?
That's okay. No, it's great. You know what's cool is we show we can just roll with it. You know what I mean? You come back in, we keep going. It's all a testament of the fact that, you got heart. We got heart. I get it from you. Now I know too why when I'm doing motorcycles, I know why I'm not a drawer at all, but I see it in my head and I know why now. It's because all the years I spent around you. You would just do it. So I guess I inherited that from you.
Yeah, like that 5-speed automatic I built. There was no plans for that either. I just bought that mill and I taught myself how to run the mill, building the transmission. And Tommy, he didn't tell me till like 15 years later, but he was a machinist. And I bought the mill and taught myself how to run it, building that train. And he came and he watched me doing it, knowing that I wasn't a machinist. And he came to the track the first time we ran it, and he was with us all the time. And 15 years later, he said, "You remember the time I went to the track with you after you did the training?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I only went to watch how many pieces that thing exploded in, because I didn't figure there's any way it was going to work."
Oh, shit.
He said, "I was amazed. It went down the track and shifted into every gear." He said, "I couldn't believe it." But
I'm excited.
He waited 15 years to tell me that.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm excited to see that 4-cylinder. I want to, like, when we get a little chance to get a video up here, I want to put it back up here so everybody can see it once you got it running. And I know you put it on the group, right? It's Ironheads or
Ironhead Build Just for Fun on Facebook.
Ironhead Build Just for Fun on Facebook.
Yeah, I put pictures up every day from what I did.
I love it.
It's getting ready to go together now. I got all the machine work done.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to see it. And I can't thank you enough for being here, taking the time and, putting up with the phone stuff back and forth to be here and answer the questions. I know we have a lot of people watching. So many people are commenting. I can't get to you all because I'm so engrossed in conversation, but we love you all and thank you for watching. And Guy, thank you so much for joining us. I'm thankful.
I'll see if I can stop down there shortly.
Yeah, please do. And we're going to get to a race and come and see you for sure.
Yeah, try and make it to Jim McClure Nationals. That's the one you'll enjoy the most.
Okay. Well, anyone you're at, I'll enjoy the most. That's the important part. So, all right, everybody. Thanks to Guy for coming. I love you dearly. Thank you. I will see you later. And okay, everybody. Don't forget, follow on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share, and stay tuned for more great guests. Thanks to Guy Glover for joining us. And thanks to our sponsors, Techno Research, and our advertiser, Seaside Subs. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another great show, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Another great guest. Love to all. Good night. Chopper on.